All right, here we are getting towards the end. We learned about stocks and how they make money, how the stock market returns a 10% annual return over the last 100 years, and how that can lead to compound growth, why picking individual stocks is difficult, and why you should buy index funds, which contains thousands of stocks with minimal fees and maximal simplicity. And so now we're going to talk about how to actually buy an index fund. And so here it is. Here's what buttons to actually press. For the record, this is not sponsored. I have never done any sort of corporate sponsorship whatsoever, although I've turned them down basically every single day of my life. I do that because I don't want to have an ulterior motive about the information I provide. And so I'm using Vanguard. You have to use some sort of vendor for this. I'm using Vanguard as an example because they basically popularized the index fund. Whenever I hear of someone using Vanguard, it warms my heart because whoever turned them on to Vanguard had their best interest at heart because it is like a low-cost leader in index funds. And so that's why I use them for this example, but Fidelity and Schwab are also both great options. You could also use Betterment or M1. There's lots of other brokerages out there. Use the one that's right for you. If you already have a relationship with the one, like you have a 401k through it, or your friends or your parents use it, stick with that one. Vanguard they all give you access to the same stock market, and they all have the same type of low fee index funds. But let's go through this example with Vanguard. So here I am at Vanguard's website, vanguard.com. I'm going to click personal investors because I'm a person, not a company that's setting up a 401k plan or something like that. So I click personal investors. I'm going to click open an account. Makes sense, right? I'm going to click start a new account. If you're transferring an account, like let's say you have an old 401k or an IRA, or you want to move money from a different brokerage, you can click the transfer your account here. But here I'm just going to open up a brand new one. Here it lets you choose the type of account. Remember those different buckets? I was comparing checking account, savings account, Roth IRA, brokerage account. So here's where you get to choose which type of account. For most people, a great place to start is a Roth IRA because you can put up to $6,000 per year in there, and any money, all the growth of those investments is never ever taxed again, which is one of the best deals you'll ever get in taxes. And so you can see that Roth IRA is selected there. You need to list some information about yourself, so including your social security number, because investing does have tax implications. Just like when you get paid at work, if your investments make money, you may have to owe taxes on them. Not if they're in your IRA, but you still report that to the government, so they keep track of that kind of stuff. You put some of your personal information in there. It asks how you're going to fund your investment account. So just like you link your Venmo account or something, you link your investment account or your brokerage account to your checking account so you can transfer money back and forth between them. And so here it's asking for the routing and account number, which you can, you guys know how to link accounts. Come on, we got this, guys, we got this. All right, so once you finish these steps and click submit, then it's going to open your account, and then you're going to have a page that looks like this. So this is my actual real Vanguard account. And now I'm going to show you, once your account's open, how to actually buy an index fund. So I'm going to click over there and click buy and sell, I'm going to click the My Accounts menu item, then click buy and sell, and then it takes me to this page. I'm going to click buy funds because remember, an index fund is technically a type of mutual fund, and so I'm going to buy an index fund or buy a mutual fund. So I click buy funds, and then here it asks for the ticker symbol. Remember how index funds and stocks and ETFs all have ticker symbols, those little 1 to 5 character shorthand or nicknames for the fund. And so here it's asking which fund you want to buy. How do you know which ticker symbol to put in? Well, if you want a target date index fund, you can use this chart that we used previously. And so remember, you figure out your year, you take your birth year, add 65, round up to the next nearest 5. And so in this example, I'm picking 2055. So I'm taking the VFFVX ticker symbol and putting it in here. Then it asks how much money do you want to put in? And so I'm choosing to invest $1,000 in this one. Then it says, where do you want the money to come from? And so in this one, I'm choosing from my checking account. So remember how I linked my checking account? It's saying, hey, buy $1,000 worth of this target date index fund that includes those US stocks, international stocks, bonds, and then take the money out of my checking account, which I've linked to make that purchase. And then you click submit and you own the index fund. And so this is my actual real Vanguard account again. There you can see I've got over $100,000 in there. And let's walk through again those layers of investing. So at the top layer is the brokerage. This is like the website, the bank, the brokerage that you go to open an account. Inside of your brokerage is your account. And so this isn't a Roth IRA, it's just a regular old taxable brokerage account. My Roth IRA is actually with Fidelity, which I'll show you in a second. So again, the account is in the brokerage, and then the inside of the account, if I click into that, is the fund. And so there is my target date index fund, VFIFX. That's the one I just bought. And if I click into that, I will see all of these stocks. And so when I just bought that $1,000 of VFFEX, or was that what it was? VFIFX. So when I bought that $1,000 of VFIFX, it actually contains Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and Google and Facebook and Tesla, Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's company, JP Morgan Chase, Johnson & Johnson, Visa. You know the names of these companies, right? So when I bought that targeted index fund, all these companies of the US and the world are working and growing and innovating and profiting and paying those dividends and growth back to me inside of my fund. And so just as long as I hold that fund and hopefully buy more and more over time, that is how I build that millions of dollars of wealth over time. That is it. That is how it works. That is the buttons you click. All right. So, you know, on those cooking shows where like they put in a pie and then like they immediately take out a cooked one because they don't want to have time to like do it all. So I'm going to do that with you right now. Here's the cooked pie. This is my actual Fidelity brokerage account. This is where I have most of my money. Again, it's not better or worse than Vanguard or Schwab. It's just, you know, you make the decision which you want to choose based on user interface, support, things like that. It's all access to the same stock market. And so you can see I have a bunch of accounts. I have a brokerage account, a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA. My checking account is actually in here. My 529, which is a savings account for kids for college. My HSA, health savings account. And if I move over here, you'll see these two lines actually show the growth of my investments. And so there's been some like deposits and withdrawals, which is the light blue line. This light blue line is basically how much money I put in there. The dark blue line is how much my investments are worth. And so it's just this little unassuming graph, but you can see I put in about $1.8 million over, you know, this is since 2016, but as of end of 2021, there's actually almost $3 million in there. So there's basically, you know, whatever it is, $1.3 million worth of growth just over the last 6 years. And that's actually relatively typical because if you're getting a 10% rate of return, that means your investments are doubling every 7 years. And so I actually had a head start here because I already had $1 million 5 years ago. But if you invest at $500 per month or whatever it is, the more the better. This is what it kind of looks like at the end. You have millions of dollars. Your money's going up in value with the change in the stock market. Okay, so over these last 9 videos, I kind of had to brush over some things because I wanted to get it into this hour. We talked about, you know, we just brushed over like HSAs, investing for kids, how stocks actually work. We didn't have time to talk about bonds. We didn't talk about ETFs. All that stuff is really good stuff. So if you want to learn more, we have one more chapter that's going to explain how to learn more about all that additional stuff. It's in the next video. I'll see you there.